Hey out there, this is your boy Troy Miles, aka The Rockin' Coder, with another episode of Check It Out. Today I'm going to hip you to an amazing piece of software which will not only ease the lives of Android developers, but can also help out web developers targeting mobile devices. The Android Emulator has been the butt of many a joke since it was introduced over 5 years ago. Despite all of the years it has been out, it is still slow. Unfortunately, it is still an indispensable tool needed for both development and demonstration. So, what can a developer do? Get faster hardware? I'm using a quad-core i7 MacBook with an SSD, and the emulator, while faster than on my old PC laptop, is still slow. Normally, I use my phone for development, but that isn't always convenient and doesn't allow for its use during talks or videos. One potential solution is to use a virtual machine. Virtual machines are very popular these days. Many of us have software like Parallels, VMware, and VirtualBox installed on our machines. VMs run at near native speed. In addition to supporting ARM processors, Android can also run on x86 machines. Now, before you begin setting up an Android VM, let's see what you'll need to do. In addition to deploying the OS, you will need to set up the display, Wi-Fi, sound, and other devices. You'll also need to set up some system software in order to make sure Android is running correctly. In other words, it is possible but not easy to do, but there is help. AndroVM has fully built Android VMs for VirtualBox. There are VMs for both phone and tablet, and they not only emulate a device, but allow for the setup of a Google account. You can even download apps from the Google Play Store. Setting up is easy. Simply download VirtualBox, download some AndroVM appliances, start the appliance, and connect the appliance to the ADB. So let's take a look at what this installation entails. First thing we need to do is go over to VirtualBox and download VirtualBox if you haven't done so already. So we're going to go to virtualbox.org. Click the download link on the left-hand side. Find your machine. Mine is currently the Macintosh. Click the download it, install the package, and then run it. We're not going to wait for this to finish. Next, you want to go to AndroVM.org. Click the download link, and then choose an OVA or appliance package for your needs. Now, in my case, I want the I want the VBots 86P version with Gaps, Houdini, and Flash. This is a phone complete with the Google Apps installed on it. So I'm going to choose this guy right here, let him download. Now, assuming that we did everything right, we'd be able to go into VirtualBox, and with a appliance, what you want to do is actually import the appliance in. So we're going to go to File, Import Appliance, click the Open Appliance tab, go to where my appliance got downloaded. In my case, it's in my Downloads directory. Say Open, say import. It's going to take it a few seconds to open this guy up. Now, before you hit start, first thing we want to do is make sure that we have our network correctly set up. I have only been able to get the bridge adapter to work correctly, so we're going to select it, say OK, and now we're going to say start, and take a note that this is a machine cold booting. So let's take a look how long this takes. And that's it. We're in Android. We're going to go ahead and select the English, say start. I am not going to set up a Gmail account right now or get an account right now. Yeah, I understand about the GPS. No need to give it a name. And click to finish. And now we're in Android, all the way from code boot in just a few seconds. Now the very first thing that we need to do is we need to let the Android debug bridge know that the Android VM is a device. In order to do that, we need to first get the Android VM's IP address. Android VM comes with a configuration app, and this configuration app tells you what the current IP address is. So we need to get that IP address, go into terminal, say ADV connect, and then give it the IP address 192.168.1-92, and it's telling me I'm already connected. And then for a confirmation, do ADB devices, and we can see that I've got both an emulator and a device connected, so all is fine there. Now let's go into my development environment. What I want to do is tell it that it's a USB device. Now I know that it's a virtual machine and it's not really a real device, but the ADB thinks it is. So we want to say OK, and we want to go ahead and do our deploy, and this time it sees it. We're deploying to it, and now we can see my application. Now, just for comparison, let's take a look at the AndroVM versus the normal emulator. So we'll bring up the normal emulator running the same application and take a look at it scrolling. Notice it's nice and chunky, just kind of goes up and down, and you can see that things are responding somewhat sluggishly to my touch as I click an icon. We can see it open up, but you notice it didn't smoothly open up, it just sort of appeared open. Same thing here on the map. We can actually see the map display. In fact, let's change the settings and make the map a little smaller. And you can see each time I click on something, it takes it a while for it to respond. Here I'm moving the slider. If we go back to the map again, we can see how long it takes for it to redraw, to put items onto the map. We can actually see it drawing these elements. Now if we do the same thing here, and we choose the map. Oh, in fact, let me change the radius. Go back to the map. You notice the map comes up almost instantly. And for those web developers, you do not need to be an Android developer to use this VM. It's also very useful if you're just doing web development and you're targeting mobile devices. So if we go, let's go all the way back into the home page. We go into the browser. Let's go to my favorite website. And you can see here comes, my website in its mobile version. And I can scroll up and down nice and smoothly. I see everything as though I was launching this from an actual Android device, which makes it very handy. It's much better than using, say, a window resizer and a user agent spoof application in Chrome or Firefox or Safari or something like that. So, in summary, all in all, AndroVM is amazing. I'm using it daily now. The current version is open source, but future versions will be a commercial product. This is important to know that, this great tool is going to be sold. I don't know what the pricing is yet because it hasn't been released, but it's something you want to keep aware of. Also, for those of you who use all of your support tickets, you'll be pretty much on your own to find help. I mean, because it's an open source product and it's a product that's also going into a commercial version, you're not going to get the kind of help that you would need if you're the kind of person that needs a lot of help. Now, from a lot of developers out there, they'll be able to figure all this out on their own. They know which forums to go to ask for help. But, all in all, this is not a Google product. Want more? Be sure to follow me on Twitter @TheRockEncoder.